Like you don't get your worth from your boss or get your worth from your child. It's already there.
I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but the healthier parent, the healthier child. It's not about blame. It's not about fault. It's about self-compassion, learning, and making changes to make your life better, healthier. And that, it's also about intergenerational trauma.
Welcome to the Feel Good Club podcast. This is the place where ambitious working moms learn how to elevate their well-being, increase success in all areas, and create a positive, aligned life. Whether you're here to hear expert interviews or inspiring talks, this is your space to learn and grow. I'm Tia Graham, keynote and TED speaker, best-selling author, and founder of the Feel Good Club community for high-achieving moms. I am an expert in the science of happiness. This show is here to help you feel grounded, happier, and connected to yourself and others. I know you are going to love it. Thank you for being here. Let's dive in.
Hi, Jessica. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I am delighted to be here.
You have incredible experience. And to be honest, it was hard to choose what topics to talk about because you have a wide breadth of experience. But I want to just dive right in. And I want to ask, how come parents, and in this case, working moms, self-sabotage? And maybe start off by just talking about what is self-sabotage in the context of an ambitious working mom.
Well, part of it is probably perfectionism. I mean, I know that they strive to do it all. You have I have this image of the teddy bear in one hand, the briefcase in the other hand, and the computer under, here. And then
Yeah.
they're trying to be a good wife potentially, or, whatever it is, they're just trying to do it all. I think that if we're talking about moms, we are trained as moms to be everything to everybody and to hold it together. And although I think we're better now than we were when I was growing up and having my kids young, where we were not allowed to take care of ourselves at all. We do talk a lot more now about self-love, self-care, thank goodness. When I think that sometimes we feel guilty, or we hyper-focus on we aren't doing enough here. We can't, we can't just do it all. And we can't do it all perfectly, which really is impossible to do all of it perfectly. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like giving yourself the permission to be okay, to not always
Like
be
be like a C plus, to not be A.
it's okay. So self-sabotage, I believe, often starts in our childhood. I believe that we are navigating our childhood
Yeah.
with not necessarily told exactly what to do. What I mean by that is, let's say we're living in a home and we're not feeling so safe because we have an alcoholic parent, or we just have a parent that travels a lot. So we figure out ways to make ourselves feel safe. So we may learn to be the perfect child. So we take that piece because we want to please our parent. We don't want to be abandoned, and we take it into our adult life. So what does a perfect child mean as a grown up? It means the one that works 24/7, but and doesn't sleep, because during some of that time she wants to be the perfect mom. So, and doesn't want to maybe get help from other people. So how do we self-sabotage? We work hours more than we can balance our life because we want our boss to think we're perfect. And we feel that other parts of our life is not getting their needs met, but you're not getting your needs met either. Or we go to every single game that the child is, and not get other things done when the child would have been okay when you only came to 3 out of 5 games.
Right.
It's just expecting so much of yourself that you're not taking care of anything right, or yourself, and people will get sick.
And people get sick. So I can relate to so much of what you said. Um, and so as a child, this perfectionism or this drive to be good, to be a good child, right? Which then is connected to safety and feeling loved and feeling secure,
Mhm.
we bring into our adult life, even though we are safe. I mean, we're I'm assuming, right? These are people in their where they live and everything. They are physically safe.
Mhm.
And there isn't, they're not living with their parents anymore, right? So it's like, okay, you're trying to be perfect and good
Mhm.
for whom? And you mentioned like your boss. I think, trying to be the perfect mom is like you're trying to be perfect for your children or wife. Like there's all these external people. It started off as let's say you're doing it for your parents and it was a coping mechanism as a child. But
Mhm.
then when you're like externalizing all of this,
Mhm.
like you said, you're going to become sick or you are going to be like, you're going to have anxiety. You're going to get depressed. You're going to like lose it. You're going to, there's that it's going to come out because it's too much. It was just, you're talking like it was, yeah, it's too much.
And those messaging and modeling from children too. What if, you're told that you can't rest? You have to get A plus, you have to get A plus. And now you are, it doesn't feel comfortable to take that time that you need to maybe go to therapy or meditate or do any of this self-help stuff. So, we have these mixed messages out there, right?
Yeah. Interesting of like, yeah, the messaging or even if you don't say it, but just that like signaling that like you can't rest, you need to like keep going. Um, and I will say, I've said this many times, like there was almost a decade where I really struggled with this of just this like not feeling good enough. And so much of it was related to, yes, my childhood, but also because I have a child who has a disability and has different challenges. And I didn't know she was had a disability until she was 7. So for a good 7 years, I was like, it must be me. So a lot of like, I'm not good enough because my kid has challenges. And I've done a lot of inner work of like, yeah, even if she has challenges, I am good enough. And like that disconnection from external measures of your value and of your worth, right? Like you don't get your worth from your boss or get your worth from your child. It's
Mhm.
already there.
You really have to
Um,
go out from within.
get
It's
it
true
from
other people for your
yeah.
self-worth. It's
Yes,
it's never gonna work. It's
it's
just
never going to work. It's externalized. Yeah. It's things you're not in control of it.
mm.
So, how do our own emotional histories shape the way that we raise our children? And what exactly do you mean by our emotional histories?
Let's take a quick pause for something that can really support you. If you constantly question if you are good enough as a working mom and desperately want to feel happier, I'd love to invite you to a complimentary discovery call with me. In 45 minutes, we'll get clear on what is out of alignment, what you want your days to feel like, and 2 to 3 simple changes you can make immediately to feel calmer and more confident. It's completely free and it's a chance for us to connect and see if the Feel Good Club for working moms or one-on-one coaching might support you. To grab a spot, go to tiagraham.com/discovery call. That's tiagraham.com/discovery call and pick a time that works for you.
So it's how you learn from your parents. You learn, as mentioned before, messaging and modeling from your parents. You learn how to self-regulate from your parents. They're kind of you mirror each other. And if you have parents that aren't able to do that, then you may not be a person that can self-regulate in your adult life.
Your parents want to.
Right. And as I mentioned before, also, if you are learning to be the good girl, the perfect child, in order not to upset your parents, so you don't get abandoned, and you take that into your adult relationships. Then, if you're not, if you feel, and you worry about abandonment, and you feel that let's just say you're in your child wants to spend more time with their friends, then it's like an emotional wound to you. Why are they rejecting me? Why are they abandoning me? I mean, you can have these feelings and not understand what they're coming from. And it's often this part of you as a child that hasn't yet been soothed, it's a self-soothed, like we talked about going within. You're relying on your child for your validation.
No, and there's to the extreme, it's like the people that follow their kids to college. They like move, right? It's like, no, no, no. You let them go, let them fly.
I always said fly. I always said the ideal parenting. Well, there's a lot of ideal parenting, but part of it is you can get them to a place where you can say fly, which you just did. I'm here. Yeah, you're that safe base. I'm
Yeah.
here. But now you have the skills to be and to just be you. It's allowing them to be whoever they are, not what you tell them to be. You have
They,
there are some boundaries and a safe place to do that and a safe place to come back, but it's really just letting them be themselves.
right, right. So if someone listening is going, like I'm not sure I'm aware of all of the emotional histories. Like, okay, yeah, maybe my dad yelled a lot, or my mom wanted me to get straight A's, or my parents got divorced and there was tons of conflict. And, they I think we're all very aware of like all the things that happened. Um, but as I'm listening to you, I almost wanna like, how could I become more self-aware of my emotional history? Because my girls are now preteens and they're definitely pulling away like, "Mom, no more like hugging when you say like that's embarrassing, mom, like at school." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay, you're right." Um, all the different things and to not take it like, "Oh, I'm not they don't love me anymore," where it's like, "No, no, no, they're becoming a teenager. Like this is absolutely developmentally appropriate."
Right.
Um, so yeah, how do you think we can become more aware of our emotional histories?
Mhm.
I think that will help us be more aware of like why we are the way we are now.
I agree. Just before we go there, I want to just point out that becoming educated in normal development is important also
Becoming
because
educated, normal development.
about development, about stages of development. Like you just mentioned, it is normal when you're a tween or an adolescent to separate. It is normal to have some push and pull with your mommy daughter, for example.
Right.
You know,
Right.
easy, but it's normal. So they're trying to figure out who they are. So that's one piece, so people don't take it personally. And the other piece is take the time because a healthy parent is a better parent. Take the time to go back into your childhood and to figure out. And it isn't about blame, and I want to, it's not about blaming your parents or not having compassion toward them or compassion toward yourself. It could be anything. It's just an understanding. It's gaining an understanding of why you act the way you act. And sometimes you may look at your child and uh, for example, they do something that you start feeling shame about and realize that it's not about your kid. This is about you, something that you were, that came up in your childhood that's popping up. Things don't just go away and it takes work and it could be painful and may not be. Some parts, we could take ourselves back to a time, which maybe, but it takes work. I can tell you when you're at the other end, it's worth it as a person, as a partner, in any relationship, friendship, anything in work, and as a parent. Because, I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but the healthier parent, the healthier child.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's the same. And what, a huge message of the Feel Good Club is, prioritizing your own well-being, whether that's spiritual, physical, emotional, relational, you know, um, that yeah, like we want our kids to be happy and well, we take care of ourselves. And, as working moms, the calendars are so full with just working kids. And of course we need to sleep.
Mm.
But like taking that time and not feeling guilty to whether it's like you said, meditation, whether it's, I'm a huge believer in therapy, whether it's time with girlfriends, like anything that you need to do.
Mhm.
So taking the time to just reflect on our childhood and kind of what was sort of the emotional state with the parents and how you're feeling of just kind of more that awareness.
And
Yeah, I think is
and and have an understanding of the triggers.
Understand.
What happens when you're triggered? What happens when you find yourself maybe not as regulated? A child is screaming next, in the other room. And late, right? Super triggering. And so what does it do to you? Does it bring up shame? Does it bring up uh, anger? Does it bring up what am I doing wrong?
Did you feel safe as a kid
Right?
when someone was screaming?
Exactly. So it takes time to just, recognize it. And, because most likely it's a pattern. It's going to happen more than once. And if it
Yeah.
does, then I would suggest, learn about yourself, learn about the inner child, do the inner child work, do the Traitor Within work, learn about yourself because it's about having self-compassion. It's about, the way that you're acting, especially if there are survival mechanisms from your childhood that you're bringing into your adult life. It's not about blame. It's not about fault. It's about self-compassion, learning and making changes to make your life better, healthier. And then, it's also about intergenerational trauma. We do continue that. What your child was seeing, your actions, they'll see you dysregulated. They'll see what happens when you're that way. They'll learn from it. They'll copy it. They'll,
Right. Right.
they'll absorb it. So,
Right. Um, I have several questions coming up. So, but just a really, really good tip for the beautiful working mom who's listening is to make a list of your triggers, whether it's from your spouse, from your kids, just and could be like physically what your environment looks like triggers you, just like take the time to do that. And then it kind of this like open awareness of let how does this connect to my childhood and how does it connect now? And doing it with self-compassion and kind of curiosity as opposed to, like you said, shame. Okay, so one question I want to ask you is, um, and this is a personal question, but I'm sure
mhm.
several people listening can relate to it, is there was a period where I was very, very triggered because my daughter would have, was very dysregulated, like having meltdowns and screaming and things like that. And it was very, very triggering to me. I was not able to stay calm.
Mhm.
Um, and I did a lot of deep inner work so that now I am able to co-regulate. I stay self-regulated. Like am I perfect? No, no such thing. But like, really, really transformed.
Mhm.
I have a, I have like a worry of like, oh God, there was a lot of years where I couldn't. Is that okay? Or the fact that I am now, can I like make up for it? I guess that's like,
Yes, yes, yes. You can always do that. And you know what? You're teaching your child something too. You're teaching your child that it's human, that it's okay to make mistakes, that it's okay to learn from mistakes. And then this is what we can do now. This is how we can, what I've learned. You're human. I mean, and then so when they make mistakes, they won't be full of shame. They won't
right,
beat themselves up for it. They'll say, okay, I can make a mistake. That's okay. I'm human. But now I know better ways to do it because I watched my mom.
right. So I guess to talk about that, like I realized I was doing something that wasn't with my values, how I wanted to be, and like, okay, that's good. Um, so how does a working mom know or a parent know if you are parenting your child or children that you have right in front of you in your home, or if you are parenting your inner child?
Yeah. So again, if things pop up, what's being triggered? If you're in the grocery store with your child and they're having a temper tantrum and you're looking around and you're feeling all this, shame. Oh my God, they're going to think I'm a bad parent. Oh, I'm not doing the right thing. My guess is that's from your childhood. That's from your, because objectively speaking, if I'm walking through a grocery store and I see a child that's acting, it's a child acting, it's a meltdown. It's a meltdown. So, then to look at that, where is that coming from? Why am I feeling overwhelmed with shame? Why am I feeling like someone's going to look at me and tell me I'm a terrible parent? That's where, it could your inner child work.
So are all triggers
Hmm.
and parenting triggers and relational triggers, like kind of are they all connected to unresolved childhood experiences?
I think a lot of it's connected to unresolved childhood experiences. Of course, you can have other traumas in your life that also you can get triggered, of course.
Right.
I do think that, and again, it's not about saying you had a terrible childhood. It's not about saying it's just an understanding
Right.
that because it's a long time that you're using those coping mechanisms. So it's going to take time to undo those mechanisms and change
Yeah.
and wire kind of, your way of thinking. But it's very
Right. Right. And it's and you when you wrote, you used the word like quietly influencing. So whether it's like and you wrote like quietly influencing how you discipline or how you communicate or how you regulate your emotions or how you do the family dynamics. Um besides triggers, is there any other information or any other self-awareness pieces that where you would know like, "Oh, this might be some of my childhood stuff."
well, just again, paying attention to how you respond, paying attention if you keep having a certain feeling comes up, um, be, uh, that doesn't really make sense, or you think that that's an exaggerated feeling of, that it isn't necessarily what you're feeling matches what is happening.
Got it. Oh gosh, I can relate to that. Yeah, where it's like something happens, but then the emotional feeling that yeah, it's bigger than what it actually is.
Right. Although
Yeah.
you can look at two different ways because you look at it as you're reacting, that goes back to your childhood. But also, what if you're judging yourself when you should be reacting that way? That's also a piece from your childhood.
Mm.
It's both ways.
Oh, got it. Of how you yeah. Um, so you have been a working mom for several years.
Mhm.
Um, what advice would you give with everything you know now and you've done so much work, what advice would you give to your younger working mom self,
Mm.
you know, with everything you know now? And I know that you are very passionate about your work and care about your work, which the listeners and I do as well.
Uh, you are, what you just want to piece is that you can make mistakes, but teaching your children about the mistake and making changes is a really amazing teaching experience for them. It's okay to show sadness, but it's okay to show the way you feel as long as you're not super dysregulated, because that can be very scary for children.
Mm.
But you want to give permission to them to feel and
For me,
to let those
feel.
right. It's okay to work. That don't have to go through. I felt very guilty about leaving and work. It's okay to do that because you're teaching them. You're teaching them wonderful things about your job. You talk to them about it. Make it part of the family structure. And and in regard to work, it's okay to also take time for yourself. And you're teaching your children that. Look at everything you're modeling for your kids.
Mhm.
And I assume you want them to know it's okay for them to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And did you ever struggle with working mom guilt?
Um, yes. But some of how I handled it was I worked the hours that I worked, and then I just didn't sleep, and then I would spend the time I could with them when I came home with them, and then I'd start doing all my paperwork at like 11 o'clock at night, and then go to sleep at 2, and then wake up at 5.
Oh
So
my gosh.
well, I lost it that way. So I tried to. My thing was because I had a working mom who was never around, and so I was going to be the other mom. I was so
You're gonna be around.
mhm,
Maybe
so sacrifice laws.
overcompensated,
So I didn't sleep.
so
Basically,
you
didn't
didn't
sleep.
sleep. Sometimes I wish I was like you because I can't not sleep. Like if I don't sleep, I am a complete,
Oh,
you know, yeah. So
that
my
is so.
boss
That,
I'm so negative and like I'm like the most miserable person if I don't sleep.
yeah,
But
but
sometimes I'm like, oh, I kind of wish sometimes I could to be more productive, to be honest.
no, but it's not a good. Studies show that you really need to sleep. You need to your body
Yes,
needs
I know.
to heal.
I have
So
and
I'm not healing. I didn't heal.
no, I know that. Um, So if people want to learn more about you and also, yeah, where can they go learn more about you? And then also take a minute or two to talk about your new book.
Thank you for bringing that up. They can find me at Jessica Anne Pressler and across all social media. And jessicaannepressler.com is my website. And I come out with a blog every week, a new blog. And I have a podcast, Your Traitor Within, which talks about the traitor within. And people come on and tells their own traitor within stories. And you're welcome to come on if you'd like.
I would love to come on. I definitely could talk.
After. And my book is called, oh, surprise, Traitor Within. But it's a fictional story about Cassandra, who had a traitor within formed in her childhood, and hers did not show up as a parent, but hers showed up as in her romantic relationships. She wound up staying in romantic relationships way longer than anyone should stay in it. And she did so because she was taught to be the quiet one, the fixer, the one that takes the blame, the one that forgets to what happened. Someone cheats on you, you forget it. And she did it again and again and again and again until she discovered the traitor within. So it's a way of teaching the concept, but through fiction. So my hope is that it will reach more people because people will hopefully buy it just to read it as fiction.
Right.
And then see themselves without even knowing it.
Oh my gosh. Every like 17-year-old girl, right? Like before. And it's like, there's so much. I love that. It's so powerful and such a wonderful, needed. But society, cultural, we could do a whole podcast about that, about like how we are conditioned many girls and women and teens are conditioned to want the attention and the validation from men and want that. So, oh my gosh. Okay, great. So is the traitor within similar to the internal critic?
Yes, it can be. An inner critic is an example of a traitor within.
Okay. Oh, well, I can't wait to read it. And well, Jessica, thank you so much for coming on the show. Personally, I got a lot out of it for myself, and I know that the listeners did too. And I look forward to talking again soon.
Thank you, and I can't wait to have you on my podcast.
Thank you for joining me on the Feel Good Club show. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired and equipped to take on your day with confidence, self-love, and joy. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow ambitious working moms. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. We're all here to support each other in feeling good and living our best lives. Until next time, take care and be hopeful. And remember, prioritize your happiness.